we're going to be sitting down and just having, a chit chat. And I want to share my thoughts on some important aspect of the yoga community that isn't spoken about enough. And I want to bring this topic into the light because it deserves to be acknowledged, it deserves to be said, and it needs to be normalized. Because I feel like a lot of people don't come forward and don't talk about this as often as we all should be doing. And so today I'm going to be talking about it, and hopefully maybe someone out there might resonate with what it is I'm going to be sharing. So, with further ado, let's start. So today's topic is something that I've said before that I really want to talk about and share personally out of the world. And maybe your experience is a little different depending on how far you are in your journey. Maybe you just started, or maybe you are already far all the way out there. Who knows? But anyhow, this is just for anyone out there in the world who needs to hear this, and something that I want to talk about because I think it deserves to be normalized and it needs to be heard, and it's not often spoken about. So today's topic is going to be about comparison. What do I mean by comparison? So in the yoga community world, we're often known and seen as people who are perfect. Okay, so we're seen as, we're people who practice yoga, we know so much about health and wellness and meditation, and we're just like people who are perfect. Well, inside all of that world, that bubble, if you were to remove all the layers, just peel it off one layer at a time, the honest truth is that a lot of yogi teachers, we often compare ourselves to other yogi teachers. So this is not implied to only yogi teachers, but this also goes for yogi students, okay? So for an example is, I'm a teacher myself, so for an example would be, you're going through social media, you're scrolling, and you see a yoga teacher, and the way how they teach their class is different from yours, and you wonder why can't you teach like the way how they do? Or why doesn't your body look like theirs? Why does your body look different when you are in a certain asana? That's what I mean by comparison. Often yogi teachers, we do compare ourselves to other yogis. Whether you're a teacher, you're a student, or you're a master, or a practitioner that you've been doing for years. And so we often do compare ourselves to other teachers. So why do we do that? I believe that we often compare ourselves to other people, whether it's in person or through social media. It's because we feel either insecure, or we're just not comfortable, or we feel as if we're lacking in the life that we are in. So an example would be if you are someone who just started practicing yoga and you see someone else who's able to do, arm balances or standing poses, something that you haven't exactly gotten to a point in your life. And it makes you a little insecure knowing that you feel like you're behind. And so this aspect actually does fall down with the yoga comparison, because we often compare ourselves to other teachers wondering, why can't I look like this? Or why can't my lifestyle be like that? Or why does this yoga teacher have more followers than I do? Or you feel a little insecure or self-conscious about certain things about yourself, and you often compare yourself to another teacher and wondering why you can't be like them. It's like saying, someone else is more flexible than me, and so it makes you feel uncomfortable with the body that you're in. And I know this topic is difficult to talk about, but it needs to be said. It needs to be acknowledged. And if I'm going to be honest, I will admit I am guilty of comparing myself too. Okay? So you're not alone. It is okay. Okay? It's okay. You're not alone in this. I openly admit. When I first started practicing yoga years ago, 3-4 years ago, I admit that I often did compare myself as well. And I never really realized that I was contrasting my own yogic journey compared to other teachers. And excuse me, I burped. For students that I've seen on social media. And at that time, I was in a place in life where I was just, discovering yoga, and I had often and deeply criticized myself, or wondering, why does my body look different in this asana compared to someone else? And And, you know, the thing is that the whole comparison thing, it's basically your limiting beliefs that you have on yourself. It's what you think that you lack and what you think you're only capable of. But the thing is that when it comes to the yoga community and your yoga journey, everyone starts off as beginners, no matter who you are. And that's something that we often don't acknowledge. We all start as beginners. When you first up in the mat, you can be like, oh my god, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. And that's something that we often forget, is that every person, even our teachers, even the masters, they all started as beginners. And we often forget that they were also a beginner once in their life, and they worked hard to get where they are now. And we should be given credit and be saying, you know, wow, I feel inspired by their work, their dedication, rather than comparing and contrasting ourselves, wondering why we can't do arm balances or why our body is not as flexible as someone else's. I also believe that one of the reasons why we do compare ourselves a lot to other yoga teachers and yogi students is because where we are in life, our placement in life, whether we have just started, we're in between, or we're already, you know, on the pinpoint of the mountain and just getting down to the other side, across the next mountain. And it's kind of like saying, you know, comparing yourself to someone else's journey. It doesn't have to be yoga, but like just kind of saying, oh, you know, everyone else is growing, but I feel like I'm stuck. So that's how I kind of see it, if that makes sense, if that kind of helps you paint the picture of what I mean by saying yoga comparisons. Because the thing about yoga is that it's a mindset thing, it's an emotional and mental health thing, and it's also a physical thing where you, rather than forcing your body to get into poses, you have to teach your body how to get into the poses, to understand your anatomy, and to really understand and figure out what works best for you, rather than trying to attempt someone else's practice that maybe perhaps it doesn't really work well with your body, based on, you know, maybe you don't have a lot of hip space, or you realize that your arms or your torso is shorter than someone else's. And we often compare ourselves to that, wondering why we can't be like them. But here's the thing, if we were all the same, all of us, what would happen? If we were all the same, there would be no inspiration, no empowerment. There would be none of that. Because if we all look the same and have the same body type, all of that, we wouldn't be thriving, we wouldn't be growing, we'd all be exactly the same, and there would be no growth. And the honest truth is that we often compare ourselves way too much without realizing how detrimental it is. It's harmful to our health. And I'm not implying that, oh, you shouldn't compare yourself. Of course not. You know, it happens to everybody. Even I do that, okay? I admit I am guilty myself. I have done that many times where I've compared myself, and then I'll stop and I'll pause, be like, you know, why am I doing that? If you do find yourself comparing to someone else's life, then maybe perhaps you should pull back and ask yourself what it is that you need to fulfill in your life to make yourself more happy, rather than looking at someone else's life and, you know, being envious. But here's another thing that I also want to add, is that you might be envious of someone else's lifestyle or where they're at in the yoga journey, but someone else might be envious of yours, and you probably don't even know it. And the honest truth is that we forget, we think that no one else is comparing their life to ours. But the truth is, someone else is. As we are coming down to the last bits of the video, I just wanted to remind you that, yes, it is almost impossible to not compare yourself to someone else, because a lot of people do that every day. We do that every day, whether it's in person, on social media. We compare ourselves from time to time, or we judge someone else, and it's hard not to compare, it's hard not to judge. And even I myself sometimes can be like that, and I admit It's a human thing. It's just a human thing. But that doesn't make you a bad person, okay? You're not a bad person if you compare or you judge. You're not a bad person. But that just means that sometimes we just need to pull back and remind ourselves that we shouldn't compare our life, our yogic journey, our abilities, what we're capable of. We shouldn't downplay our own talents, but we should look at it from a different perspective and ask ourselves what it is that we need to do to challenge ourselves more. What can we do to go out of our comfort zone, and ask yourself, how can I get there? What can I do to meet this certain point? And it's always good to challenge yourself. It's always good to just sit down and confront yourself and just have these moments and have these conversations with yourself openly and honestly. And like I said, it's almost impossible to not judge, to not compare yourself to someone else. And like before, it doesn't make you a bad person. It can be a struggle, but you just have to learn how to cope with it and to remind yourself that you are your own person. And someone else, they are also their own person. And what they do has nothing to do with who you are or what you're capable of. And trust me, you are capable of a lot of things. It may take some time for you to get there, like how I am. There's some things I'm still working through, but hey, it's a start, and you should learn to be kind to yourself. So, yeah. We have come to the end of the video. If you really enjoy this video, you can go down and check my channel and check out and look at my other previous videos that I have made. It would be so wonderful if you subscribe, like, and share this video. Comment down below and let me know what you think. And let me know if you resonate with anything that I've said, or if I miss anything. Feel free to share. I'll read the comments. And it's great that you are here. I'm really glad that you are here to listen to my rambling. And yes, but I really appreciate you. So thank you for being here. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Have a wonderful day.